Hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, hopefully everything's working. So I'm gonna switch over. There we go. Nice. Stream quality set to 1080p. That should be good enough. Let's show the live chat. See if it works. Let's close that. All right. Good to roll. Hey, Ken Bruce, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Just kicking it off. Fenrir is looking amazing, but at the moment it's completely disassembled. I thought I would be done with it, to be honest, with this week, like all completely done and dusted. But man, the molding on this kit is so cool on the inner frame and armor that I kept kind of taking a step forward and then 3 steps back to detail it up, or kind of paint it up, different kind of molds and stuff like that. So where we ended up now is that I still need to clean up the panel lines and the accessories, yes, and assemble those, and I need to apply all of the decals, of which there is a good dozen. Oh, you finished Tristan? Nice. I have that in my backlog. I haven't gotten to that yet, and I believe I have. Is Percival the one that has like a roundy accessory with a halo with a lot of swords? Is that the one? And Tristan is the one with like a big shield, I think. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, I have both in the backlog. I'm not sure what I'm gonna build next after this. I'm debating whether I should do these 2S and AA kits, the Tristan and Percival, or I have 2 ZZA kits, the Gus, and the most recent one, I don't remember the name of it, but the one that looks a bit meaner. So I've done PGURX 78 and I did PGU New, now I did this. Kind of quite big back-to-back builds. I almost want to but do something smaller for a couple of smaller builds. For the panel liner, so I've used on this kit so far, I've used 2 panel liners. I used Steady MP13, which is black, and MP11, which is dark gray. It's a warm gray color. Hello, fan. Welcome to the stream. I joined right on time, but the stream just kicked off. The goal for today with Fenrir is to assemble the accessories. I still need to clean up some of the panel lines a little bit. So we're gonna do the clean up panel lines first, and we're gonna assemble the accessories, and then we're gonna start doing the decals. I don't know how long I'm gonna stream for today. Hopefully a few hours. I don't really have any plans for the evening, except for I'm gonna check out Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary, in the cinemas in the evening. So probably I'm gonna stream up until then, which would be like 4 hours of streaming. So we'll see if I run out of juice sooner. But so far the build is phenomenal. I posted a bunch of posts on my community page on YouTube with like milestones, progress, and I did some comments there. Very impressed. Even though the expectations for ERA are high, they make amazing model kits, and they keep raising the bar. So far, I haven't kind of come across anything with Fenrir that was a disappointment. So far, everything is like, oh nice, oh nice, oh nice. As a matter of fact, I like it so much that it's taken me longer than I anticipated to complete the build, because even though most of the inner frame is covered up, I ended up panel lining and detailing with markers almost all of the inner frame. I ended up painting all of the tubes, so you can see stuff like this. Hopefully the camera focuses on that. This was just a gray part, uniformal gray part, and I used marker to add some color there, and then I used marker to add color here. Then it was panel lined, then you need to dry it off, you need to clean it up. It kind of adds to the final look, but it looks really cool eventually. So yeah, I'm very, very impressed with Fenrir so far. These for the white armor bits. Find the steady dark gray bit light compared to Tamiya. Yeah, so the steady light gray or dark gray, I don't know, MP11, is it dark gray or light gray? MP11. I don't know. But anyway, these are the two I used, and what I find is that it's not so much that it's not as dark as, let's say, what is this? Tamiya dark gray. This is a cold gray. This is a warm gray, so it creates an impression by default that this is a darker color. I wish Steady did cold shades of gray, because even when they are not darker, the colder colors or colder shades of colors, they look darker. Just usually that's the way you kind of perceive it. But yeah, also the consistency of Tamiya, especially gray, is better than Steady. Steady, like the pigment tends to separate from the liquid very quickly, so you almost have to like shake it every minute to apply it. But if you are patient enough, you can get something that looks like this. Let's make sure I can just, I'm gonna zoom in really close so you can see. So it looks not bad. It looks pretty good. It creates contrast. I tried panel lining with, so Steady Black is much more consistent color than Steady Gray. You can see, for example, let's grab this part, this very large part that's panel lined in black. So the black panel liner from Steady looks really, really good. It's really good quality. It's consistent. It dries well. It's sticky enough, considering that it's a water-based panel liner. But with the gray, so when I tried to panel line white with black, it was just the contrast was off. It's way too dark for white, at least for my liking. I wish there was a darker shade of gray from Steady, or a colder shade. I think that would look better, but I haven't come across one yet. So it's still not bad, and it's ABS plastic, and you panel line it a lot, and I'm not willing to risk, this is my build, I did not want to risk damaging the kit, because there's a lot of really fine parts here, and a lot of opportunities to panel line, so if I was to panel line all of that with acrylic, chances are a lot of this stuff would start snapping. It's just not the risk I was willing to take. Anyhow, let me take these out of here and finish cleaning up the parts. finished applying water decals on your PGNU. Hey, congratulations! How you liking your PGNU build so far? Are you using the original decals, or did you buy any third-party decals? No, dude, ask as many as you want. Do you have a line assembled with steady, and also do you let the steady ones flow or brush it onto the panel lines like paintbrush? So I'll tackle them one by one. In terms of panel line and assembled or unassembled, it depends. Depends on the part. In general, panel line and so in terms of danger to the kit, panel line and assembled kit with steady really doesn't pose any danger because it's a water-based panel liner, right? So if it sips into the kit, it's not going to damage it, right? Panel line and assembled kits with Tamiya can be dangerous because if acrylics, spill inside the kit, it can damage inner plastic, and that plastic quite often is inner frame and weight-bearing plastic and stuff like that. So what I go off of in both cases, whether I'm using Tamiya or Steady, is convenience. Quite often I would assemble the part, then I would inspect it and see what I want to do with it, then I would disassemble it and I would panel line it. But if I assemble it and I see that that I want to panel line certain parts and there would be no significant risk in doing so on assembled part, I would not disassemble it. So I just try to be cautious not to, mess it up. But mostly I go off of vibes and convenience, really. Sometimes I also don't feel like disassembling parts. In this case, you can see with the accessories that are laid out on the desk right now, some parts are partially assembled. So these are the two guns for Fenrir. So I partially assembled them. These are inner frames and inner structures for those guns, and then I panel lined them. But they are not fully assembled because their armor parts are, for example, disassembled at the moment. That is because panel lining the inner parts that partially stick out through the armor when they are assembled would have been more hassle than just taking off the armor plates and doing the panel lines and detailing on top of that. So for example, in here you can see that I used my focusing on that. So in here I used marker to paint these tubes. I used chrome marker here. I detailed all of that with a liner, and I used more marker here. And it's much easier to do so without the armor being in the way. In terms of flow, it depends on the plastic finish. I find that, so this plastic, for example, is very shiny, it's very flat, and there is a little bit of surface texture, but it's minimal. So basically, even even black steady liner has the capillary action that flows really well for all these nooks and crannies. But on a plastic like this white that has a more abrasive texture on it, so what ERA does quite a bit with their kits is that they give their plastic some texture so it looks matte. Makes it look better out of the box without any paint or top coat. You actually have to drag the brush through the groove for the paint to spread out. So it's not like you dab in a lot, you just kind of slide the I can actually show it here. Hold on. Doing cleanup anyway. So I'm just gonna grab some steady panel liner. So this is like a large white part, and you can see that I removed some extra panel liner here, so the groove is kind of interrupted. So I just dab it, and I would drag it through it, and that's it. And then the thing with the Tamiya's liners, they dry out extremely quickly, like minutes. With Steady, you have to keep them some time, like half an hour, ideally overnight. And you remove the steady liners differently than you do with Tamiya's, because Tamiya's need you to use thinners. With the steady, what I prefer, I discovered this week, is using one of these removing sticks with replaceable tips on them. These don't absorb water much, but they're very good at absorbing paint and stuff like that. So I just dab that thing onto a napkin to remove the paint from it, and I drag it to clean up the, you can see there's a spill here, just carefully, boom, clean. Even though this hasn't dried out yet, so shouldn't be actually trying to clean it. No, I'm gonna try anyway. There we go. That's it. And that's the part panel and cleaned up. So I still have some more accessories to clean up. These are gonna have to have. This is cleaned up. This needs cleaning. I actually used a black panel liner on the face. Right here. Let's see if the camera can focus it out. So here on the face, this is black panel liner. Actually, at first I did gray panel liner, and then I did not like the look. I thought the contrast was not really enough, and I ended up re-panel lining it with black, because the face is kind of buried inside the helmet. The black panel liner looks a bit better there. But you can see the black creates really strong contrast, which I thought was not looking very good on the majority of the kit. But in some cases, I mean, you might prefer them. But gray liner definitely is more difficult to work with than black liner. At least with steady. Same with Tamiya. It's also like it doesn't flow as good as black. At first, I remember when I just started in the hobby, I bought light gray Tamiya panel liner, and that was a dookie. At first, I thought I got the dud. I went back to the store, and they were like, "Oh, show us what's wrong with it." And I showed them, and they're like, "No, that's supposed to be that way." And I'm like, "No way, dude. Why is black so easy to work with? Black liner and gray so crap." They're like, "No, it's just what it is, man." Like, you know what? Give it dark gray, because this light gray is doing my head in. And I've stopped it since. I just used the original decals. Also, it's currently in parts since I haven't uploaded it yet, and I applied decals in parts, but I had it assembled before applying decals, and I like it a lot. Nice. Did you build like both sides, or did you leave one side kind of inner frame bare, like I did with my approach? What do you think about the kit so far? What's your favorite aspect of it? I'm looking at it every day, I'm not gonna lie. I have it on a shelf in my living room, up high, next to Sky Defender. I just can't help but steal a quick peek at it every day. Such a great kit. Although I dread going back to it because articulating it was such a hassle. I don't know if you experienced the same difficulty with the waist joint being loosey-goosey, but then that thing stressed me out a whole lot. Give City Liner a second chance, but I've been. Good for you, man. Yeah, pen liner on the runners. Maybe it was you, maybe somebody else suggested a couple of weeks ago. I still have not tried that. But in terms of, I never had, well, so I had issues with using Tamiya acrylic liner on ABS plastic. I had an issue on several actually Bandai rail grades where carelessly I applied Tamiya acrylic, and you know, I usually apply it very carefully. I don't kind of drowse it in that liquid and leave it there for days. But after, I think, 2-3 cracks on separate kits, I was like, you know what? Unless the plastic is ABS, I'm not gonna bother. And at first I used a Vallejo wash. So you can buy a model wash. It's like a very thin paint. It's pre-thinned. They have a lot more colors. And I was using a Penoline pen, which is just a Fontaine tip pen. The SPA makes them, like, or just can use regular Fontaine pen. And I was using wash until I found steady Penoliners. And when I found those, it's so convenient to use them that if I'm not certain whether the plastic is PS, or I just don't want to take a risk, I just use steady. And using steady is like, at this point, is actually easier than Tamiya, because with the Tamiya cleanup, you need thinner. It's you know, not a very good. It's not very good to breathe in the thinner, stuff like that. So I'd have to wear a mask, even though the results quite often on that look better. So it's good to have options. Built both sides. Didn't like how the LEDs were separate and pretty expensive, so I wired my own LEDs. One of the things I didn't like was applying all the tiny silver circles on the funnels. Dude, those tiny circles are a pain in the butt. Yeah, they're just overall the 3D stickers on that kit. Whew. I think I pointed it out in my review as well, because I kind of had to find a mental trick to make me enjoy doing all of those 3D stickers. So I just started thinking of it as like gem incrustation for the inner frame. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm trying to make it look pretty, more beautiful. Like a coping mechanism. But if you want to take it a step further, I'm not sure if you decided to paint your kit or not. What you can do with the PGNU fin funnels is you can chrome line them. You can see it on my build in the video. It takes a hell of a lot of time to do that, but it makes them look like $1,000,000. Like, the lining process itself is pretty easy, but cleanup of that, hours. But they're so shiny. And you wired your own LEDs. Nice. What method did you use? Similar to what I did, or something completely different? I have purchased those LED set from Unicorn Art for PGNU. Hopefully they drop it soon. Supposedly it comes with the main body replacement LED set in place of an original one, and it also comes with effect parts and LED light strips for the fin funnels, which, if done as good as Cosmos did with Real Great Hainu and Decals, would look phenomenal in this scale. So we'll see. I'll definitely make a video on the channel about it. Let me mute my watch. I had trouble taking them off the adhesive paper. I had actually several occasions with those 3D stickers because they made them thicker on so Bandai's 3D stickers, if you look at like PGU RX-72 or GX Strike, their 3D stickers used to be thinner. I had several occasions in my build where I, using very fine tweezers, was able to take off the shiny part off of the sheet, but not the sticky part, which was a bit annoying. I do the cleanup. I use gun primer solvent, which doesn't have any toxic smell, but I did find cleanup upstate a bit easier and doesn't smudge as much as stone does. Yep, the solvent is really good. It doesn't smell. It doesn't. I'm not an expert in that area, but my thinking process is, even if it doesn't smell, the vapor still might not be very good for you. So just whenever I deal with that, stand aside of caution, I wear 3M respirator mask, and I have my like ventilation on and stuff like that. It's just, with the lungs, man, don't want to take any chances. Them things don't recover once damaged. But yeah, solvent is really good. I've been using that ever since it came out. It's much softer, thinner. Something like Tamiya thinner or Mr. Hobby thinner can damage plastic even sometimes. Like in my Aurora build, in ERA Aurora, it's a much earlier build of mine. I was using Tamiya's to panaline it, which wasn't a big deal, but I used a regular thinner, which was in Mr. Hobby, to clean it up, and the thinner actually left marks on the plastic. There's nothing I can do with that at this point. It's not so bad, but you can see it on the video. Solvent doesn't do that. Solvent is really good. But with the solvent, you have to work it in, like you have to rub the Q-tip or whatever you use to apply it to remove the excess. Have you tried top coating with Mr. Premium top coat? Does it reactivate the steady panel liner? I have not tried using Mr. Premium top coats on steady liner yet. Just haven't had an opportunity. I've actually, you know what? I'm gonna have to. You can actually probably answer it for me if you want. If you check my time-lapse video for ERA Manta build, because I top coated that with Mr. Premium flat, you should be able to see on the time-lapse of the build what panel liners I use there. I just don't remember off the top of my head. Put it down. I don't top coat many builds because of the weather limitations out here. I do it outside. So my sample pool is quite small on top coating. But last year I top coated Manta, Vidar, MGX Strike Freedom. On Vidar and Strike Freedom I used Tamiya's, because they're Bandai. I don't remember what I used on Manta. Go, that one is done. Oh, so you did your own LEDs for the PG you knew. What method did you use to make your own LEDs? I'm curious. And did you do the LED for the camera on the chest? Done. last piece. I think in here I only added the silver. It needs to be filled up. Yep. Alright, cool. Okay, done with the water liner cleanup. Now just need to clean up these silver lines. There's quite a few left. And they are a bit tedious, but necessary. Grab the eraser pen, a few Q-tips. Done. Next. Next part. One down, a few more to go. Get to assemble the accessories. Separate the ones that are done and the ones that need doing. Otherwise I'm gonna get lost and then this needs cleanup here. Such a cool kind of attention to detail by ERA. When you assemble the one of the main accessories, which is like tail / sword, they use a lot of repetitive parts in all of these, what, 5 chain links. But to make it easier on you, they have keyed them differently, and on the pegs, on the ball of the peg, they actually have a number embossed right there. I decided to detail it with a marker so it stands out more. Such a cool attention to detail by ERA. Hey Condro, going well. How about yourself? You having a good weekend? Welcome to the stream. I think I'm running out of thinner in that paint. Might need a fresh one. These are done. Let's get the other part of the sword. This is done. Fresh pan. Feels good, just putting the final touches on the real great Hanyu. Oh man, real great Hanyu is a phenomenal model kit. It is such a great model kit. Are you building the regular version or are you doing anything? I think it has a bunch of different versions. That's titanium finish. Something else. Are you using the Cosmos LED set for it? Give me details. I want to know. Such a great kit. I've done it years ago. 2 years probably. Those fin funnels, the inner frame on it is phenomenal. The coloring is awesome on the regular real grade. And if you use Cosmos LED set, it brings fin funnel LED effect parts. And it looks mean as all hell. The version, it looks awesome with decals. Yep, yeah, for sure. I don't remember what decals I used on it. Water decals, maybe it was G-Rework or some other company, but yeah, they add a very nice amount of like mechanical detail. And the top coat, did you top coat all of it in flat or only the blue plastic parts? If I remember correctly on mine, I top coated only the blue plastic parts. But such a nice build. It's one of the best real grades, and probably one of the best builds, hands down, in general. I was supposed to receive actually a Hyper Mega Bazooka for it. And I have an LED set for the Hyper Mega Bazooka from Cosmos. But there was a mix-up with Canada Post, and now it's on the way back to Japan, unfortunately. One day, I will finally get a Hyper Mega Bazooka for it. All flat, nice. You retain the gold with marker. Gold, I don't remember. Oh yeah, it does have some gold parts there. I don't think I was doing markers at the time. Which marker did you use? The SPIA, MKM series, or something else? And what do you think about the kit so far? Did you like it? Do you like the final result? I bet with the flat top coat it looks like $1,000,000. Water decals, flat top coat, shiny gold parts. Got yourself a museum piece. You gonna do the real grade new Gundam? So your Hanyu has a company? Or Sazabi maybe? All three of them are phenomenal builds. Let's do this one. I think Hanyu is the best. It's just kind of the coolest. But New is also pretty cool. I liked it. I think I built New first. I was so impressed by it that I got then Hanyu. And real great Sazabi is a very nice build. And if you're interested in like some limited edition versions of real grade New, there's quite a few. there is Fukuoka, Gundam Base Limited, there is double fin funnel version, and there's fin funnel expansion kit. There's a first lot edition of it. They made a bunch of real great new versions. Yeah, basically it's been like a year ago and just got around to the decals and top coat, but it was nice. Hey, I feel ya. So you did like a little revisit of the build you pretty much completed some time ago to finish it off. Very nice. What's next on your building agenda? What do you think is going to be your next build? This is clean. Next. Done with our Gs for now. Like in the third party stuff. All right, yeah, I mean, you can probably, if you've been following this channel for any amount of time, I am not biased. What's your third party favorite kit? I mean, this is a third party kit. This is an ERA Fenrir, which is, well, I mean, inera is the best, in my opinion, humble opinion, third party model maker. But they quite often have their builds, their designs influenced by original Bandai designs, but they take them quite far in their own interpretation. So this, as far as I can gather it, is a, let's say, inera's own Barbados. Or Barbados. This is done. Have you built any inera kits yet? Regis, Fenrir, and Sky Defender. You have them or you have built them? Last time we talked, you convinced me to get the cost of Sky Defender, but once they arrived, I got intimidated and I just revisited. Oh man, don't let it intimidate you. I'm glad that I was a, I guess, positive-ish influence on you, convincing you to buy more stuff. Welcome to the hobby. Growing your backlog. That's the hobby of growing your backlog. But any of those kits, I cannot speak for Regis. I have not yet built Regis. I have both ZZA Regis and Goths in my backlog. Chances are I'm gonna build them next because I've been building quite big kits back to back now for several months, so I need a bit of a refresh with an easier build. But for Fenrir, for example, the manual is phenomenal. It's not a intimidating build. And for Sky Defender, it has the best manual. Like, the entire process is very, very manageable and actually very enjoyable. It's just with those large kits, and also like this one, if you don't like dwelling on one kit for a while, then it might be a bit intimidating. But at the same time, every step you complete on those larger builds, like every step, like minor part, like a head or some sort of like a gimmick when you're done with it, with a stage or a step, they all look so cool. There's so much to admire about them. Um, that it's really not like you have to have 100 runners in front of you and you have to cut off 3,000 pieces and put it all together in one step. It's far from it. It's not mechanic ore or something like that. I haven't done mechanic ore, but I've heard nothing good in terms of building experience about mechanic ore. These inera Sky Defenders and others, they are very highly kind of curated builds. They not that they hold your hand, but the companies that prepare them put a lot of emphasis into making sure that you enjoy building, like you have a good experience, rather than you suffer and then you have a cool result at the end. So just don't let it intimidate you. Take it step by step, stage by stage, and don't be afraid to take breaks. Right? You can like do only like Sky Defender inner frame and take a break. You know, it's good stuff. How long does my build session last? Well, it depends. Depends on life and family balancing. My only consistent building sessions so far, ever since I started streaming, have been these live hangouts. Like every Saturday at 5, I know that I'm gonna sit down, enjoy a few hours of chatting with you guys, and getting some work done throughout the week. Usually I get around to building late in the evenings for a couple of hours, if I'm lucky, because I have full-time jobs, hobbies, etc., etc. Okay, let's assemble the accessories. I think my best like a building sesh, like a good one, probably would be like 4 or 5 hours if you have like an audiobook and you kind of lose yourself to that. Where's my stand? There we go. Yeah, I haven't done any mechanic core kits. I have an aspiration to do one. Maybe at some point I will tackle something like that. But for now, I think I better steer clear. So it seems like every single part in a mechanical, well, almost every single part in a mechanical kit has to be like filed, you know, kind of wrangled into place and glued. They need to be painted ideally. They're like an ultimate flex for your skill as a builder, I would say. But if you can build them well, it's like a freaking statue. Don't see them often, like Reddit and stuff, but whenever I do see like a good mechanical build, I'm like, whoa, that guy definitely knows what they're doing. Ammo chamber. Then we need this. Ammo chamber goes on top. Nope. Oh crap, I didn't clean up that. Let's forget one side. go. Then need to assemble these. And this goes like that. And there. Oh, come on. So this will builder chest and base will take me 2 hours unless it has a pre-built frame. 2 or 3 hours. That's not slow. I guess definition of slow is subjective. Some people, I mean, this is my, so this week I've been mostly off and I've been sick, so I've had a lot of time to build this week. So I built every single day for like 5 hours this week, and I'm still not done with this kit. I'm not even started the decals. So compared to me, you're a flash. But then some people build freaking PGU new in like 24 hours. I don't know how much Adderall one needs to do something like that. Oh, look at this. Yeah, it's a pretty cool gun. The barrel extends. This thing swings out like under barrel. It's a bit flimsy. Then this chamber opens up and this chamber opens up. And you have attachment points on the sides. Oh, and this thing at the back also stands out. Very cool. Very nice design. ERA does really good job with their accessories for the kids. They like are pushing the needle there. With the Nemesis, the entire backpack assembly is just mind-blowing. And it transforms in so many different ways that if you watch like 3-4 different reviews, you will see probably in every single one of them people using different poses and different versions of the backpack assembly. And I believe they use some of that here too. We haven't assembled it yet, but I believe the sword, this guy, it actually has some design elements that are taken straight from the Nemesis. It's good. They came up with a good thing, and we should reuse it in a reasonable way. So I'm ready for 3 days, so on. Wow, that's, yeah, man, I don't know, 3 days. Even if it's like 3 days with only sleep breaks, I feel like I would want to kill myself just doing one thing for such a long time. I don't know if I would still enjoy it. Even when I build, I like take breaks to take some photos. To me, it's kind of important to fresh it up, like do something else for a few minutes, and then go back to the thing that you're doing. But I think even if I was to force myself to, say, sit down and build for 16 hours a day, I would not build something like PGU in 3 days. Oh, so if I stick it, oh look at that, it locks the mechanism, it actually locks the ammo chamber in place. So I need to slide out this thing in the back. Oh, come on. Slide out, there we go. So I need to open the barrel and the thing at the back, and that releases the mechanism for the magazine. This is a really cool looking gun. Alright. Next, we have the tail thingy. Need to apply some decals on it. Not this. Speaking of 3D decals, need to apply these on the tail. Copies. I mean, make sure to use reviewer code SKH. All I can tell you. I have never gotten 2 copies of a kit. Not yet, at least. Not for myself. I would sometimes get a second copy as a gift. Or something like that. There was only one kit probably that I seriously considered at some point buying a second copy of. But my backlog is so vast, and I keep getting new ones all the time that I ended up not getting that. Oh, it was Sky Defender. Honestly, if they make like a reprint of it in a different color scheme that's kind of different enough to warrant another buy, I might. But I also kind of hope they won't, because I don't really like when vendors start reprinting the same design in different colors many times. Too much new stuff. Whatever ink that comes out with next, that should be huge. It's been a few years since Sky Defender. But yeah, if there is an inner frame that deserves, you know, having a second copy of to display side by side, Fenrir is definitely up there. Blizzard might be a competitor. Maybe Thunderbolt. Maybe Nemesis. And the last sticker. Okay, so with the tail, we go see the numbers. Another 2. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Freaking Godzilla. If I extend it a little bit, make people a little bit more. Thunderbolt is one of your all-time favorites. Nice. Same. I have it in my working space, like on a high shelf, pretty high up. The original Thunderbolt. And in Manta, I have it in my living room next to Lizard on one of the display shelves. Alright, there we go. Very nicely articulated tail / sword. Nice. Handle. It also has a handle. Goes right here. Oops. This might be the coolest sword I've ever seen. It's like unique. It reminds me... Crap, what does it remind me of? Like Bleach? When they had those like living swords that had like minds of their own and stuff like that. Now that it's cooler than the modelkit, it's just so different, this one. Very nice. So if we transform it into the sword mode, we can attach it right here, supposedly. Take it off. Interesting. Pull it out and lift. Go. Oh, this is supposed to be like this. That explains it. That explains it. This is an extremely cool sword. Now let's put the handle back on. Damn. Some remaining panel liner. Bench. I think I assembled this sword. It's already done. Stickers there. Nope. Alright. Then this thing. Jet large sword assembly. An even larger sword? No way. This comes right here. This part I forgot to put on. It's that thing that stops it from moving out. Okay. Maybe in the right direction, that would be helpful. Hey, there we go. Although I wonder if I should chrome line that, or maybe silver marker. Yeah. I have silver here and chrome here. I don't really have any. Yeah, I'm gonna silver marker that. I don't want that gray part just sticking out unadorned. Spiker. kind of how I go about things. I would kind of assemble it partially, see what I like, what I don't like, take it apart, just modify it more. Good game. Good game, good game, good game. Oh, where is stuck? Come on, dude. No peg that's preventing it from taking off. This entire part is in. There. This part is actually supposed to be here. Silver marker. Now I'm gonna have to be extra careful. Hell yeah. First try. Pretty good fit. Nothing kind of sticks out. Everything seems to stay together pretty nicely. Alright, next page. A few more details here. Where is my phone though? Oh, there's... Okay. Mother owl. Damn it. Come on. Detach it a bit more. There we go. And back. What is that part? And these two things. I thought this would only stick out partially, so I didn't fully silver coat it. That was a mistake. Needs more paint. Might wipe it off. Let's see. That refresh it once it's assembled. Massive, absolutely massive. If one cool sword was not enough, they decided to make two. Actually three. Maniacs. I really like this design. So futuristic, cyberpunky kind of thing. Steampunky. Oh, they do cover it with more armor. I didn't admit it. red thingies. So they are keyed. Yep. Let's see. They are keyed, but the thick part is supposed to go at the bottom, like this. Yep. I don't think I've seen so many like repetitive but slightly different parts in a kit yet, and the vendor kind of went above and beyond to key them. You seemingly have a lot of repetitive parts, but a lot of them are actually slightly different. Like in here, you don't just have 4 red tabs. You should have 2 pairs of 2, and they're keyed differently. Like, really pay attention. If you're like me and you cut all of them off, sometimes end up having to place them. Put them in the wrong place. At least their guide does a really good job. Telling you like, hey, watch out. Don't force it. This thing is keyed. There we go. And the final part here is that. Damn. Now that's a cool sword. Now that is a really cool sword. Have this gimmick. Then this opens up with a gimmick. This sword slides out. This thing is articulated. Dude, freaking insane. It's like little jets on the sword. Massive. This is so cool. Oh, dude. Absolutely amazing. Why does that not line up perfectly though? It's supposed to. Now it lines up. So it's the sword. Oh, you lock it in place with this mechanism. Boom, boom, boom. Awesome. Phenomenal. Next, we are done with this. Nice. So we have a bunch of accessory points, which I'm gonna use later. Oh, I think I forgot to attach the hilt. I think that should be somewhere here. Yep. But it might actually look cooler without it. They do still have the same issue in ERA, where like they would do a really good job undergating the kit all over the place, but then they would have really open knob marks like here. Like when the rest of the kit is so freaking good, a knob mark like this really stands out like an eyesore. And there's really nothing you can do about it. It's such a surface that if you decide to polish this, to sand this, you're gonna have to work on this entire surface. Ideally, you want to paint that, level it off and paint. But yeah, they had it on Blizzard in a few spots. They had it in Aurora. I think Nemesis had it in a few spots as well. It's not super prevalent, but because the rest of the kit is so good, something like this stands out like an eyesore. Let's see. A few points for the arms. Finish assembling those. Attachment points. That goes like this. Oh, and they have a joint for the action base, so it's actually one of the joints that's pre-assembled. PLM ones. That's a cool decision on their part, because usually what you get with an action base from in ERA is these two things, and you slide the kit on it. But in this case, you get an adapter that you then play around with, and that slides into the backpack, I believe. And that's cool. That's pretty cool. All right. I think I can take all of these things to the side, and we can transform this into a water recon station. There's quite a few of those. Some stickers remain that I might have missed. I'll check back later on that. Right, so we split into sections here. I'm going to start with the torso, I think. Would this be torso? This is torso. And this is arms. 48. Yeah, this is torso. Nice. Let's grab the torso. Alright, I need to get my wet palette for the decals. I'll go on mute for a minute and I'll be back in a minute. And I'm back. All right, let's move this. Give the sponge a couple minutes to soak it up. In the meantime, pre-cut decals. Do you use more water for the water slides? I fill up this moisturizer thing with warm water initially, but it gets colder over time. Most decals really don't care whether it's warm or not. I know B&I decals older ones. They prefer warm water. I think they even say it in a guide that they advise using warm water. In reality though, what they need is a good soak. If you use like higher quality third-party decals like Rework, which I use quite often, all those need usually is just a dab of water and they're ready to slide off. Newer Bandai ones, like the PGU and New Gundam, they are pretty good actually. They also don't need a ton of liquid. It's very easy to apply. But if you use older decals, like for example, I did Perfect Grade Perfectibility Unicorn Gundam, and it comes with water decals because it's technically P Bandai. They were a pain in the ass to work with. They needed a lot of soak-in, like minutes and minutes. But then I found this little tool, the Decal Moisturizer Box, and changed the game, for me at least. Because you can just leave decals in that box for days. As long as you don't overfill it. I think right now I have it slightly overfilled, so I might have to soak out some of the water out of it. You just carefully cut out the decals, place them on top of here, and when you're ready, you pick them up with your tweezers and you slide them off. And you use some Mr. Mark setter to make sure that they don't fly off the kit. And you're done. Makes it really, really easy. I even had a last year it was, with a Fat Cat God Gundam. I had a great decal flood situation where I spilled. Where is this thing? This thing full of water, I spilled it right on top of the decal sheet. And I transplanted all of them without the baking paper onto this moisturizer box sponge. All of them survived, all of them were fine. It was very hassly. But with Mr. Mark Setter, all of them got applied to the kit, and they're still on it. None of them flew off. So yeah, just water, not necessarily warm water. Really clean water. And using something like Mr. Mark Setter to make them stick. Because if you rely on just the decal residue itself, I found it to be not very reliable. I don't think I've ever done a water slide kit without using Mark Setter. Alright, I think all of these guys are pre-cut. It's time to transplant them onto the... first, let's see if this is overfilled. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I'm gonna grab a paper towel and soak it up. I think this sponge is getting old. I have 3 more new ones on the way. Maybe it's time to replace. The water does evaporate over time, so you usually kind of want to overfill it just a smidge. Well, I think I kind of overdone it this time. Yeah, that's good. can zoom in a smidge for the decals. Let's maybe move the focus point up like this. There we go. Silver decals are sometimes hard to spot. Okay. There we go. Boom. All right. Off the dust. Where's my Mr. Mark setter? I'm gonna need a pen. Start with the top, 48, 46. Make sure you guys can see exactly what I'm working on. Hopefully that is in focus, more or less. Like that. Hopefully it's visible. It should be visible. 34 at the front. Here's 34. Oh, there's a lot of them go on the backside. Interesting. All of them are 41s. Okay. top of the part. Yeah. Nice. These are done, these are done. Next, at the back, 47 on the red point. Let's find the 47. Nothing more at the back. Let's go to the front. £30 on the chesticles. Hello Noel, I'm just getting here for doing some already been asked, but how are the water slides holding up? Just started with these ones. You're always welcome to ask any questions you want, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Um, the water decals are fine. So far I haven't had any tears. I've just started with the water decals on this kit. Traditionally, inera does pretty good water decals. So the expectation is clear prints, thin decals that don't stand out too much, and should be sturdy. In terms of how they adhere, I cannot really judge that because I always use mark setter on my decals. So whatever the stickiness is out of the box, mark setter makes it so I don't need to worry. So far the prints are very, I mean, they're not just crisp, they are extremely tiny. Look at this. They have a super duper tiny decal right here on the chesticle. And it has Chinese characters, and they are actually legible. It's crazy. Really, really, really good crisp print. I cannot read them, but at least I can see every single line. So yeah, pretty good. There's quite a lot of them. They are nicely organized. They are organized by section. Right now I'm working on a chest, so I just cut out the chest section of the decals, and there's other sections. This is for the arms, this is for something else. So yeah, good stuff. I mean, inera usually does good decals. If you have any specific concern or question, let me know. See if I know the answer. Just need to concentrate from time to time when I place my decal. In tips on mark setter, I find it sometimes leaves residue on the plastic. Yeah, it does. It does leave residue. Mark setter, based on my understanding, is just a very, 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 very thin glue. So what you do to clean it up is, first of all, you use as little mark setter as possible. So this bottle I've used for 3 years. Not even halfway through it. Maybe like 30% through. So you use very, 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 very little on each decal, just a dab, and then you spread it out and stuff like that. And the way you deal with the residue, you then use Mr. Mark Softer, which, as far as I understand, effectively is a very, very, very diluted thinner. So you dab a thick Q-tip like this one in it, and you rub it over the decal, and it removes the residue. I have an entire video called Decal Zen on the channel where I go through the process of applying decals step by step, from the cutout to the moisturizer to the mark setter to the mark softer. I'm not gonna get to mark softer today because this is gonna be left overnight. I basically gonna decal all of the parts first, then I'm gonna let them dry, and then I'm gonna clean up, and then I'm gonna assemble. But the residue is normal. It's supposed to leave some. You cannot really avoid that. But cleaning it up is not difficult. And ultimately, it gives you that important peace of mind that the decals are gonna stay there, and it makes it like the mark setter is so good that I have manhandled some of my kits like crazy posing them for the videos and stuff like that. There are some kids that just like to pose around. I never had a decal fall off. I tried once on perfect grade unicorn perfectibility to apply decals exactly like Bandai, like their own decals that they include. They say like, okay, you need like a plate of warm water, and they need to like just dab them for however many seconds the guide says. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do exactly that. So I cut out a few decals. I dab them, I place them, I leave them for half an hour. I come back, they're on the ground. I'm like, well, that's good. That's good shit. So I just went ahead and never not used mark setter since. And if you top coat your kit, then you don't need to worry about the residue that mark setter leaves, because the top coat will get rid of it. It's funny how that works, because if you like do a flat or glossy top coat, it just kind of nukes all of that residue, which is neat. But yeah, if you don't top coat, just let them dry, let them stick, and then go back with Mr. Mark Softer, go ham. And if you're really patient and you want it to look like exceptionally cool, you can apply, because Mark Softer has a brush in it, just like Softer. You can actually melt the decals. I don't do that often, but basically, if you have a decal that needs to kind of shape form to something, then the Mark Software will make it mold into it. It can also completely ruin the decal if you use it too much, so some practice with it. But it can also make it so the decal, even like on a plane like this, it can kind of mold into the plastic, which makes it looks like the decal is almost printed on the plastic. But that takes a while. That's game changer. Oh, nice! I'm glad I was able to help you. Hopefully it works. Give it a try. Yeah, once mark setter, always mark setter. I think some other brands make their competitive products. I have not tried those, but I know that mark setter is the kind of decal 101. These are 40s, and this is 29. This 29 goes right. Let's see, I think it goes here. You have a few decal tears on your Fireball 2.0. That one is not easy. That one has some very, very large decals. Takes some getting used to. But in terms of pros of being water decals, even if it tears up, you can always just use more liquid and, kind of articulate it, all the parts into place. Like, in my opinion, water decals are much easier to work with. Like, look how much I move every decal before I'm satisfied with its placement. You cannot do that with the stickers. Such a hassle working with stickers. You can hate them. I used stickers only in one kit ever. It was one of my very first builds. It was real great Sazabi. And like an idiot, I then top coated it in gloss, which looks nice, but it also means that I can never remove those stickers. So I have it on my long-term build goals is to one day acquire mechanical clear real grade Sazabi, build that, and customize it the way I customized my usual real grade Sazabi, and use water decals on it rather than the mess I did with my original attempt. Are we done with the torso here? It looks like we are. Yeah, I think Thunderbolt 2.0, the Manta Ray version, especially on the Manta unit itself, it has some just massive decals. The way you deal with those is you float them. I think I even posted, I think on my Instagram I have a couple of reels of me working on those. And you can see how much residue there is. Like you can see the part, then you can see the part with the decal and just insane amount of Mr. Marks Letter residue, and then you see that after cleanup, and then you see the same part after top coat, and it's completely transformed. Here, I need to work on this side. 23. I think that section is actually a head and waist unit as well. I think I'm gonna do a waist unit later. Where's 23? go. What else on this side? On the head unit, they want 26. there we go. Do we have any decals on the head, on top of the head? So this one is done, this one is done, this one is done, so it's this and this. On top of the head, 27. Finicky. Get off my tweezer. And we are done, I think. Another page of decals? Nope. Is there any other decals that go onto the head? Nope. Nope. Awesome. Well, I think that is going to be it for this stream. Those decals are for the waist, which I'll do later. But that is in ERA Fenrir. Chest pretty much, well, torso and head are pretty much done. An absolutely fabulous kit, if I say so myself. The decals are really cool as well. So far, it continues to impress me at every stage of this build process. The inner frame is phenomenal, has really cool detail. It's pretty sturdy from what I can tell, even though I haven't posed it around much yet. And so all of these opinions might change by the time the review comes out. It still needs to be put through its paces. But so far, I really don't have much negative to say about it. There are some things that are slightly odd or weird about it, like the torso for it, for example, is really cool. Like you have insane articulation, all these pistons, they are actually connected and they're functional. But at the same time, this band at the torso, like this is the neutral pose. It can hyperextend from this. I don't want to really pose it around right now because the decals are drying out, but basically you can hyperextend a little bit from here and you can bend forward from here. But this is a very kind of pelvic thrusty pose, and I think they went a bit overboard with this one. I think it should have been a bit more neutral, a bit more upright. But what it means is basically it limits a little bit its posability, because when you have it like fully assembled and standing up, it's kind of, I mean, I don't have any other way to describe it as a pelvic thrust default pose, really, which is not bad. The gimmicks on it are really, really cool. I maintain though that this is a smaller 1/72 scale kit. It just feels like it. It feels more master grady than something like Molly King, though it's larger master grade feel like. The accessories that we've assembled today, I mean, these are some of the coolest accessories I've ever seen. Even one of these would have made this kit easy worth its money and a really cool thing, but this tail slash sword with a really cool transformation, and this another sword that transforms into a bigger sword with its own jet thrusters, just nuts. It's just, they just cannot stop cooking, really. These pistols are awesome. They are lean, but they also have their own gimmicks, like this thing transforms like that, this magazine slides out, this entire thing slides out, this disconnects and that connects. Crazy. It's just, inera is absolutely mad in a good way. I hope they continue to be mad. I hope that as I finish my work on this kit and I release the review within the next 1 or 2 weeks, my opinion remains. But if not, I'll make sure to communicate that with all of you and clearly state what I don't like. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I hope that you enjoyed hanging out on this stream. I enjoyed interacting with all of you, as always. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll catch you next time.